Good morning all, thanks for joining me again on another trip down this vintage sticker memory lane. I've got an empty Panini album here, 18 stickers here, let's put them together. Here we go. First one, England foil. It's kind of an interesting World Cup for England, this one. Well, I say interesting. Obviously it pretty much ended the way most World Cups. God, that's not straight, is it? Do you know, I'm not worried about that actually, that not being straight. Gives it a bit more of a retro feel, doesn't it? Sort of feel like you used to when you was a kid. But yeah, England started off as they normally start off. Somewhat indifferent, I would say. Can I get this one in a bit straighter? Lost their talisman, their main player, Bryan Robson, within the second game, I believe. Compounded an existing shoulder injury that he already had. It's a bit of a shaggy sticker, that one, isn't it? Never mind. Of Schultz. Sounds like that one's been knocking around in someone's garage for a while. Who's going to stick on? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Bryan Robson out early doors. Not unusual for Bryan Robson. So by the time we got to the round of 16, things weren't looking too promising, and then Lineker started to find a few goals. I believe there was a hat-trick against Poland. And 2 against Paraguay, if I'm not much mistaken. Sort of propelled England on then to the quarterfinals. And well, what a quarterfinal that was. Don't need too much reminding, do we? Terry Butcher here. England mainstay, wasn't he? Won an absolute shed load of caps at that time, playing for Ipswich Town. Or I think he'd come up, I think he developed his career playing under Bryan Robson. Had they won some European trophies by that stage? I've not put that in square again, isn't it? That's terrible. Never mind. So, as with a lot of these Panini collections, obviously teaching my grandmother to suck eggs here, but as you know, many of them are just essential, well, all of them were just essentially Panini's best guess of what the squad might be going into the tournament. So the squads in 86 were a 22-man squad. It may or may not surprise you to find that actually there's only around about 65% of that squad are actually represented here in this album. There are obviously various omissions, probably some through injury, some through form, maybe a couple of surprises, maybe some the manager just didn't really fancy perhaps. Mark Wright there, he was one of those omissions. He didn't make that squad in 1986. He did make 1990. Some of you might remember that he scored a goal, a headed goal against Egypt, I think in the final game of the group stage, which put England through in that 1990 tournament. eventually sent them on to the semi-finals. To some degree, it was a bit of a saving grace probably for Bobby Robson. I mean, he was always going to leave at the end of 1990, but his reputation after 1998 was somewhat in tatters. The press were after him, and yeah, England just kept finding a way. Backbone of a lot of this squad, although I'm showing you a player there again that actually didn't make the final squad, but the backbone of a lot of this squad was the Everton team of 1986. But Everton at that point had an incredibly strong team made up of the likes of Trevor Steven, Gary Stevens, well, two Gary Stevens, I think Gary Lineker, Peter Reid was in that squad as well. So yeah, that 86 team, that Everton 86 team was on fire actually, and the bulk of that team made up this final World Cup pick. Ray Wilkins, the player of the squad by that stage. I'm not sure what huge part he played in the tournament, to be honest. You enthusiasts will definitely know. I'll get one of these in square, to be honest. Quite nice, isn't it? So it wasn't just because I was a child. I literally just can't put these square in an album. I'm sure there's videos out there telling you how to do this. Now, Glenn Hoddle. There's the man, isn't he? Hey? One of them. I feel like him and I feel like Glenn Hoddle, and we'll put these in together just because they feel like they should be a pairing. I can find him. Hoddle and Waddle. There we go. They sort of just seem to come as a pair, don't they? I think obviously the Tottenham connection, the fact that they were both flair players, and probably just because their names rhyme as well. They're just, oh, not to mention Diamond Lights, but they're just inextricably linked, aren't they? So we'll stick those in together. But yeah, Glenn Hoddle, 28 years old in that tournament. Underused as a player. Some people might say that he was. I don't know that he was underused by Bobby Robson particularly. So, get you in squarish, Glenn. That's a bit better, isn't it? There we go. Chris Waddle, flair man, winger, creativity. Almost won the game for England in 1990 against Germany. Thumped the post, didn't he? And then, of course, became a villain in the end. Blazed his penalty straight over the bar. Let's get him in there. Oh, I'm getting better at this as I'm going on. Bryan Robson, we've already mentioned him earlier. Obviously England's talisman at the time, star player probably in many ways. Captain Marvel and all that, but sadly, yeah, compounded a shoulder injury in the second match. Kept him out of the tournament. Same thing happened in Italia 90 as well. Didn't have a lot of luck with injuries. The only tournament I think he played really well, or he actually kind of lived up to his reputation as that Captain Marvel, was in the Euros in '88, but sadly England, as most people will know, we got trashed in every game and went out in the group stage. So, good old England. Mark Hateley, I'm quite sure where he was at this stage, 1986. Perhaps he was up in Scotland doing his thing with Rangers, quite possibly. Banging in loads of goals for them. He had spells of Coventry, didn't he? I'm not sure where else he was, but I don't think he was England's first, certainly not England's first choice at that stage. This man was England's first choice, Gary Lineker. ended up having a good tournament. Obviously in the end was the World Cup Golden Boot winner, as he never likes to remind people. But, you know, why shouldn't he? Not many people score 6 goals in the World Cup, do they? And get the Golden Boot, so yeah, good on you. Okay, as I say, playing out of his socks for Everton at that time. Spent 1 year, just 1 year at Everton, and then moved on to Barcelona. Everton fans never forgave him. That's life. Kerry Dixon, Chelsea hero. Again, don't know that he got a game in the World Cup. I think possibly just ended up as a squad player. And finally, second choice goalkeeper. I assume he was second choice at the time. Obviously, as I say, Panini don't include, this is their best guess of 16 players, so they don't include 1 or 2 that they're probably sitting on the fence about. Chris Woods certainly became England's second choice goalkeeper further down the line. I don't think Gary Bailey was there in 1990. Manchester United goalkeeper. Don't know if he'd retired at that stage, whether his perhaps his star was on decline. So I'm guessing by the next World Cup, Sir Alex Ferguson had come in, replaced him with his mate from Aberdeen that he subsequently dropped in the cup final. Can't think of his name now. Alex, oh, gone. Well, thanks everyone for joining me on this trip down vintage sticker memory lane. There were just 1 or 2 additions I just wanted to add into this. A few players that Panini didn't foresee would make the England squad, but were actually quite important during the tournament. So you had the other Gary Stevens was part of the squad, as was Peter Beardsley and Viv Anderson. And 3 others. The other 3 probably slightly more prominent during the course of the competition. You had Peter Reid, who famously played in that 1986 quarter-final against Argentina. Was essentially just chasing shadows for that second fantastic goal that Maradona scored. John Barnes set up what was ultimately the consolation goal there for Gary Lineker, but it did get Lineker his 6th goal and his golden boot. And finally Steve Hodge, who bizarre, well I say bizarrely, that's bizarre, players swap shirts at the end of the match, don't they? But he was the one that swapped shirts with Maradona. Kept the shirt and I think sold it at auction a few years ago for a couple of million quid, so well done Steve Hodge, some good foresight there. Anyway, I'll do some more of these. I was thinking about doing Brazil next, but maybe you've got some other ideas, maybe you'd like to see some other countries filled in. Don't ask for Argentina is the only one, because I haven't got Maradona. I mean, possibly I could buy one of these World Cup Sonrix cards and add that in, but it feels like a bit of a cheat, doesn't it? But that's all today. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.